instances of paranormal phenomena have been reported in this desolate place. Events that may reflect the area's tragic past.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Other Dangerous Podcast, where we talk all things paranormal. I'm Ken James, and this is Jason McKittrick.
Hey, folks.
And if it can haunt, howl, or dwell in the dark, we want to talk about it. And tonight, we're talking about haunted objects.
Cursed even.
Even objects.
Yeah.
And we're gonna do one of our little grab bag episodes. Usually pan out to be pretty fun. We enjoy them. But before we get into haunted / cursed objects, I'm gonna send it over to Jay for tonight's jump scare.
Thanks, Ken.
Welcome.
So this story comes to us from Allie from Pittsburgh. He says, I had a black cat called Casper. We adopted her after she ran away from the previous owner. She was missing for days before the previous owner found her in the bushes, skittish and frightened. After carrying her home, the owner discovered she was allergic to cats when her arm broke out with rashes. She put out a call for a new home, which was answered by my animal-loving family. For ages, she was scared to come near anyone and was totally averse to being petted. Eventually, she turned into a total ham, never missing the chance to jump up on you and lie with you.
Oh.
We loved her, and I loved her heaps. Then one day, she lost the use of her back legs. Not long after, she passed away. I was having a rough time then, and she was a big comforter. Point is, my parents and I were sad. A few days after, I'm sitting on my front step having a smoke, and I hear a meowing sound identical to Casper's. I look out front, and there, at the gate, was a cat meowing at me that looked just like Casper. I went over and it ran away. I looked down the street after it and it was gone. I mentioned it to my parents. They both said the same thing happened to each of them separately, which was a surprise to them too. Now, it could have been a similar cat from the neighborhood, but it only happened once to each of us and then was never seen again.
Oh.
And that's from Allie from Pittsburgh.
Thank you, Allie. A little farewell meow.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, ghost pets, man.
Yeah. We like him here.
Yeah, I mean, it's... I don't know what I'm going to do with them, because we recently got cats in the last year. Cats! And I have 3 little girls, so that won't be good when, hopefully they stick around for a while. At least 10 years.
Yeah, cats last.
They do.
Right. So, buddy.
Yeah, we have we have some haunted objects.
We do. Oh, wait. Something just came across the Other Dangerous Podcast news desk.
Christ.
Sorry, man. It's another haunted headline.
Haunted headline.
All right, guys. Haunted headline coming up if I get hit with one of those.
Yeah, man, they're out here. They're flying around. This one is called, or the title is, Ghost of Black-Eyed Girl Stalking Walkers in UK Beauty Spot Confirmed by Drone.
It has it all.
Yeah, it's great. And this one, too, the picture, it's just money. I love it.
They grab you with the title, too, though.
Yeah, definitely. And this one's from the Mirror, so, it's hard-hitting stuff. All right, but it goes... Actually, this is from February, so this is this year. A drone captured footage of an unusual image in woodland where multiple walkers have reported being stalked by a ghost. The image was taken in Cannock Chase, Staffordshire, where people have been reporting sightings of the black-eyed girl since the 1980s. Professional ghost hunters have now said the footage could be proof of supernatural activity in the area. One of these men is Robert Pulma, who described the activity as terrifying. He said, Canuck Chase is considered one of the most haunted places in Britain, so it is no surprise the area draws in lots of rumors about beasts and ghouls. We've had lots of reports of a black-eyed girl seen walking around. At first she appears like a normal girl, and walkers are worried little girl is lost in the woods. They see her eyes and she just disappears. It's terrifying. Robert believes he may understand why this particular spirit is haunting the woods, as the diphtheria outbreak in the 1800s claimed the lives of local children. The disease made victims' eyes appear sunken and dark. And this picture,
Classic ghost.
the picture here of the expert holding up this book. Oh God! And the little girl with a little I don't even know. It's like the Rosetta picture filter on it.
Right.
Yeah. However, it's been suggested the ghost could be a victim of a local murderer. Raymond Morris killed 3 children in the area between 1965 and 1967. Yet other people who have seen the drone footage merely dismiss it as fake and a person dressed up, which I'm in that class. But it goes on more, but it's pretty sweet, and I'm glad ghosts are back in the news.
Well, the UFO thing doesn't seem to be grabbing people, so maybe ghosts, they'll try that.
Yeah, we'll try ghosts. We'll move on to that. Yeah, Bigfoot's ran its course. UFOs, people people don't care. People don't care about it anymore.
I mean, obviously, you would think that'd be the thing to grab people's attention, but everyone's like, aliens. They're not, I don't know. They're not tried and true. I don't know. They don't, I don't know.
Yeah, they don't do it anymore. It's because our technology is advanced so much. It's advanced so much that we could just have our heads in our phones all the time. So they're like, why do I care about aliens? I
mean, I care about aliens.
I do too. I was simply speaking about them, they.
Oh, okay.
Those out there.
As a whole.
Yes.
Oh, I just saw the picture of the expert. Oh my God. Why is he lurking in a forest? I'd be more afraid of him than the ghost.
Yeah. He's like, funny fact.
Like you're out camping, he just comes around a tree. By my dog. It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah. He's like, I know what I'm talking about.
Where did you come from?
He's like the Grammys. I was at the Grammys.
Okay.
That's good.
Nice.
Yeah, nice. But that was our haunted headline and our jump scare. And this is going to be hopefully one of our last ones for a while where we're remote recording. Just schedules and
they
things
pop
of that
up. It's what it is.
Yeah,
it's what it is. It's us unplugs. It's what it is.
Yeah, right. Right.
Well, I wanted to get to one of these like this because A, it's a grab bag, and that's always fun, and we get to pick our own. But I just like to pull it up so I can make fun of the Warrens for their stupid museum.
Yes, absolutely.
That they literally have a Raggedy Ann doll in a box that says like danger.
Right. Yeah, and before we were going to go, we're going to these. We wanted to make sure we excluded a few. One definitely being Annabelle, because we're going to shit on that this whole time. 2, Robert the Doll.
It's just overdone, and we've mentioned them in the episode,
right?
Early episode.
Yeah, and I mean, there's some spooky stuff around that, but once again, it's another,
I feel like Bagans has that on lockdown.
Yeah, that's his baby. That's all over Travel Channel. He's got that. that. And then the last one would be the Dybbuk box.
That one's been like largely like debunked.
Yes, absolutely. There's a fun story behind it, but that story has so many loopholes in the actual seller buyer backstory who originally had it that
I prefer the Jeffrey Dean Morgan movie version of events.
Honestly, who wouldn't?
Yeah, I mean, Demon climbs out of the box at the end and tries to get him. I mean, that's
that guy. He's so good at acting sad.
Yeah.
At stuff like whatever it is, he's a great sad actor. I give him great sad cred. You ever seen the movie Killing Fields?
Sounds familiar.
It's good.
Sure.
It's good, but he's sad the whole time.
Well, that's what he does. Yeah. And he beats people with baseball bats or whatever.
Once in a while.
Or whenever the fancy strikes him. Oh my God. Yeah. All right, man. So. You want to take us out?
Yeah, I'll kick this bad boy off. I'll kick this tire down the fucking road. Are you kidding me?
Do it.
All right, so the first one I'm going to start off with. This is one that I've heard. This is a good one. Doesn't get as much prestige as it should. Excuse me. And it's a good one. It's the killing chair of Thomas Bugsby.
Mm-hmm.
Now, in 1702, a convicted murderer named Thomas Bugsby was about to be hanged for his crimes. His last request was to have his final meal served to him in his favorite pub in Thirsk, England. He finished his meal, stood up, and said, "May sudden death come to anyone who dare sit in my chair." The chair remained in the pub for centuries, and patrons would often dare one another sit in the cursed seat. During World War II, airmen from a nearby base frequented the pub. The locals noticed that the soldiers who sat in the chair would never return from war. In 1967, 2 Royal Air Force pilots sat in the chair, only to crash their truck into a tree just after they left. In 1970, a Mason tested his fate in the hot seat, only to die that same afternoon by falling into a hole at his job site. A year after that, a roofer who sat in it died after the roof he was working on collapsed. When the pub's cleaning lady tripped and fell into the chair, she died shortly afterwards from a brain tumor. I mean, that one. That one's a little.
Yeah.
The list goes on, and
So
finally
the chair gave her the tumor.
Yes, she was like, "Shit!" As she was falling, she's like, "Oh, I know I'm hitting this chair. It's over."
It was at slow motion too, like $1 Million Baby.
Yeah, exactly. Or Frank's $1 Million Baby.
Right.
This list goes on, and finally the pub owner moved the chair into the basement. Unfortunately, even in storage, the chair claimed another victim. After a delivery man took a quick rest while unloading packages in the storeroom, he was killed in a car accident that same day. Eventually, the pub owner donated the chair to a local museum in 1972. The museum displays the chair by hanging it 5 feet in the air so that no one can possibly sit in it by mistake again. Fortunately, no one has sat in the chair since.
That they know of.
That they know of.
And
Like
that's
the little
it. All you
Asian
have to do
guy,
is-
the little Asian guy from Ocean's 11. He's like flipping up in it, like sitting in it. I'm like, no.
But that's it. All you got to do is say, I'm about to die, so let me curse this chair. You just got to say, good job rocking that Miller Tall Boy, by the way.
Yeah, thanks, man. I'm getting ready for Saturday, so
All right.
had a long day.
I hear you. You got to love these. That, like, the guys just, I decided that, I'm going to curse this piece of wood that just happens to be in the configuration of a chair.
Yeah. That's why.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
sick.
it worked in Fallen, so like,
It did work in Fallen.
right. But it wasn't a chair, it was everybody else.
Yeah, right. Including James Gandolfini.
Yeah. He was like, "You all right, mate?"
And then he dies.
Yeah, and then he, boop. John Goodman, boop.
Mm-hmm.
All of them go.
Mm-hmm. John Goodman's still alive.
Yeah, I meant in the movie.
story.
Yeah, in the movie.
I gotcha.
Time
Hi,
is
man.
on my side.
Indeed. What a movie.
Great movie.
Yeah, so good. So my first pick, and there seems to be a lot of these on, on these lists. The Crying Boy painting. This is one of my just these haunted paintings in general. I mean, there's so many of them.
Yeah.
This one absolutely always caught my. There's 2 of them, but this one really caught my attention because it's such a weird subject to have. And like before I even heard of this, before the YouTube culture or whatever the hell you want to call it came out.
Yes.
You would see these like the sad clowns, sad kid paintings in your grandmother's house or like old people's houses. It's like, why would anyone hang this in their house ever? Right. So this one was a series of portraits dubbed the Crying Boy paintings. And it was, it's a young kid, large eyes, and, he's crying because that's what you want to look at, right? That's what you want to decorate your house with. Oh, yes. Kids in misery. Perfect.
Beautiful aesthetic.
Beautiful aesthetic. It has the fresh tears streaming down the face.
Yeah.
And the perfectly captured expression of despair evokes a strong emotional reaction. It's like, okay.
Yeah.
Hang it next to your Vigo the Carpathian painting. Apparently the image was designed to pull at the heartstrings of its viewers. And guess what, Ken? It did just that. So this was in the UK, and the series gained fame, and actually all over the world, actually, but it started in the UK. And they literally made like thousands upon thousands. They estimate something like over 100,000 prints that were purchased and displayed in homes and businesses. But the terrifying events accompanying the paintings many started to question if there was something sinister attached to them. So rumors spread of a curse that was so evil it destroyed its subject and creator and damaged the homes and lives of anyone who purchased one of the prints. Skeptics, on the other hand, provided other explanations. as they do. I should say, as we do.
Yeah, true.
So it starts off with so the artist who created a man by first of all he went by a pseudonym, which is kind of interesting. I mean, an Italian painter, you know, he came with Giovanni Bragolin, but he wasn't even Italian. He was a Spanish guy named Bruno Amadio.
Okay. Yeah.
And he painted these portraits. It became like his thing because during this time there was kind of like this, there was a market for these weird paintings. Like there was,
Right.
I don't know if you're, there's a movie called Big Eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah, ever seen that? Yeah.
Yes.
Same kind of thing. There was this niche that was occurring that like, oh, if you come up with this really kind of, you know, cool kind of painting that, you know, people want to hang in their house, you know, you're set. And this guy was one of the guys that did it. But after a while, people were, you know, because they become, you know, connected with the kid and they're like, oh, it's, you know, it's so strange that, you know, why did he paint a crying kid? And then people started to be like, hey, did he actually like abuse children and then paint them? It's like, I don't know. I don't think the kid held still after he got beaten.
Yeah. Well, I think too, maybe that's why that was a popular print. Because
Right.
like, you know, all the kids in your house, you're like, you want something to cry about? Look at the, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
or they would walk up to the painting and just punch a hole through it and be like, that's gonna be you.
Right.
That's what
So-
we do to crying kids in this house.
Right. Exactly. Yep. Just deal with it, you know,
Yeah.
and whatever happens, it's your fault.
Yes.
So
Right.
according to the artist, the subject of the main painting that got the most prints made, which was dubbed the crying boy, also known as the little street urchin, was actually someone that he painted back in Madrid in Spain back in the 1960s. And apparently the young boy was a mute orphan that instantly captivated the artist. So
Okay.
he stopped to paint the child, and a Catholic priest came over to issue him a stern warning. He said that the boy, whose name was Don Bonillo, had run away after seeing his parents die in a fire. I'm
Okay.
the internet, folks.
Yeah.
Since then, fires of unknown origin would break out wherever the boy went. It happened with such frequency that he was given the nickname Diablo, which translates to devil.
Someone get Zach Baggins on the phone.
I
right
mean,
now.
yeah, seriously. The priest warned Amadio against having anything to do with the child. However, the painter ignored him and adopted the boy. He brought Don Bonillo home to live with him and painted the Crying Boy series.
And taught him a fake Italian accent to go along with it.
Actually, all the kid would do was just show up and go, "Oh!" That's it.
He said, remember spaghetti, Super Mario Brothers.
Rigatoni. Sfogliatelle. So this unique relationship between the painter and his favorite subject came to a sudden fiery end when Amadio's studio and apartment mysteriously caught on fire. He lost everything, and as a result, Amadio was ruined. He remembered the priest's warnings and accused the boy of starting the blaze. He kicked him out and never saw Don Bonillo again.
This kid's life sucks, man.
Seriously, he's like, God damn it, now I gotta go light some more shit on fire.
He thought that because he was a mute, you know?
Right, exactly. He said nothing. The
He
situation
just wept. Just
Yeah, he just cried. That's what he would do. He would, maybe I could put the fire out with my tears or something. I don't know. The situation continued to worsen for Amadio when reports of the curse of the Crying Boy painting started to spread across Europe. His fame quickly turned to suspicion, and he became known as a jinx. No one wanted to look at any of his paintings, let alone commission him to paint something new. Unfortunately, the young boy, Don Bonillo's life ended much like it began, in a blaze of fire. In 1976, police responded to a report of a crash on the outskirts of Barcelona. The car exploded after crashing into a wall. When officers arrived on the scene, they found that the driver had been burned beyond recognition. He was the only one in the car at the time of the crash, and they knew that it was him because the corpse
Tears.
was crying.
Tears, yes.
I added that.
I got my own ending to add to this, so
Yep.
I'll let you know.
Yep. So then comes the house fires that happened after this. So the first reported house fire occurred at the home of Ron and Mary Hall in Rotherham in 1985. The fire destroyed everything on the first floor of their terrace council home except for one item, a print of the crying boy that hung on their living room wall. During the fire, the painting fell from the wall, landed face down, and strangely was only slightly charred on the edges. Though the cause of the fire was found to be a frying pan that overheated and burst into flames, the couple became convinced that the painting was cursed and that it, not the pan, was the blame for the destruction to their home.
Yep.
Yeah, so they were not alone in this experience. So many similar fires followed, with homes and even a pizza parlor falling victim to the curse. Oh! Despite so terrible.
We're Italian. We can do it.
Yeah, I'm goddamn right we can. Despite starting from typical causes, each fire left behind a crying boy painting. The curse evolved to cause injury and death, with some people reporting accidents after purchasing the print. Many others were horrified to find they could not burn it when they tried. So there's upwards of 60 reports of these houses catching on fire, and then the painting would just
be there.
Yeah, it would just be there, like untouched, like just surrounded by burnt shit, and then the kid's painting would be there.
The tears protected it,
right? Or, as science would tell you. So later in the 80s, early 90s, this TV show did like a test. They wanted to see, what is it about this? Why won't it catch on fire? So they bought a few of them, and they did like a live demonstration. They lit the paintings on fire, and they found out that the varnish used on the prints was a fire retardant.
That pesky science, always getting to the bottom of stuff.
Yeah, I like all the gabagool stuff that we were talking about.
Right. Well, I have a theory that that car crash that he perished in.
Yeah.
He flew from the car into the factory where they were reproducing the prints.
He flew into there.
He flew into it through the car.
Wow.
And he landed, he bounced, and right where the paint was that they were using to print it, or the ink, one of his tears dropped into it, much like Child's Play 3.
Right.
And all
Did they have to say that stupid incantation?
No, they didn't.
Okay, good.
The tears were the most powerful thing, the most powerful magic of a boy. Boy tears are apparently magic.
Interesting.
So it went in there. They got reprinted, and science be damned, it wasn't the varnish.
It was the tears. The tears were the varnish. They were cursed varnish. Okay.
Yes.
Cracked it wide open.
Boom. Write it down, folks. Update Wikipedia. We got it.
And that's the legend. I mean, you can still get these, no problem. And I've seen plenty of knockoff haunted museum, oddities museum. God, where were we? I think we were in Salem. There was one of those little oddities museums, and one of these was in there. And I was like, oh, and they had the whole history. And I was like, is this a print or an original? The guy was like, oh, it's an original. I was like,
yeah.
I looked at Christina. I was like, no, it's not. I'm like, fuck this guy.
You know what's funny? It's funny.
It's also, this looks like it was printed on an 8.5 by 11 sheet of fucking paper, pal.
Right. So this being, okay, so these just survive fires because of the varnish. Same can kind of be said with the Killing Chair, even though I still like the Killing Chair a lot in the story. But it's it sounds like a lot of people were around this chair, and a lot of people from, the 1700s, a lot of people, a lot of people had accidents in that area, in that neighborhood, just so happened to have sit in that chair. So they're
it's also a bar, and it's also a high traffic area. I mean, if you take a chair and say that it's cursed, but then put it in a basement somewhere where nobody goes, there's not going to be any resultant deaths. But if you put it somewhere where a lot of people go by it, I mean, a lot of people die often. So
right.
So we need a cursed object. We should make one up.
All right, we'll get on that.
We will.
My TV's cursed right now because Zach Bagans is on back there. You see him?
Is it though?
Yeah.
I mean, you wanted us.
You got us. It's good. I still enjoy it. I like it. I like the lore behind it, and that's what we're here for. We're here for the lore and the fun stuff.
Yeah, we're here for the stories. Facts be damned.
Yeah.
So what do you got next, pal?
Facts. Well, my friend, are you familiar with Anna Baker's wedding dress?
I am.
Right. So in 1849, a girl from a rich family named Anna Baker fell in love with a low-class iron worker. Story old as time.
Mm-hmm.
Anna's father, Ellis Baker, refused to let her marry her beloved, banishing the young man from their hometown in Altoona, Pennsylvania. What? Home of Jason Hawes.
Also, there's a Halloween museum there.
Oh, nice. Thus dooming his daughter to a life of spinsterhood. Anna was so angry with her father that she never fell in love or married and remained bitter and angry until her death in 1914. That's, for the time, that's a life. Before her father sent her true love away, Anna had chosen a beautiful wedding dress that she intended to wear at their wedding. When the wedding did not occur, another wealthy woman from a local family, Elizabeth Dystart, wore the dress instead, gloating the entire time that years later.
You okay?
Yeah, sorry. I get, Years later, the wedding dress was given to an historical society, and eventually the Baker Mansion was turned into a museum. The wedding dress was placed in a glass case in what was formerly Anna Baker's bedroom. That's an insult to injury, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
After her death, visitors claimed to see the dress move on its own, especially during full moons. I love that visual. That's just, come on.
The hanging dress and the full moon.
Yeah.
And it just starts moving. Mm-hmm. The only thing missing from that would be like a flaming skull. Peter James.
Coming through.
Sorry, I forgot that it works on remote episodes too. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, folks. If you were listening and a flaming skull came into your house, I am sorry.
Look, they were happy because this is how we used to do it when they they came. They were smiling this time.
That's true.
Man.
Make sure there's not any stray ones left in here.
Yeah. Peter James be with us. After death, visitors claim to see the dress move on its own, especially during full moons. The dress sways from side to side as if an unseen bride is standing in front of her mirror, admiring.
Swaying side to side. Is she doing like a sexy dance?
Yes.
The sexy ghost?
Any Tim Burton corpse dancing. Think of that.
But I don't know why, but I'm thinking of fat guy in a tiny coat. I don't know why. Just the motion.
Well, that's the sexiest dance there is, man.
It's true.
Anyway, as if the unseen bride is standing in front of her mirror, admiring herself in the gown. Like in The Wedding Singer when Drew Barrymore was Robbie Hart. Investigators who have searched for drafts and other natural occurrences or naturally occurring circumstances have come up empty-handed. No one can be sure why the dress sometimes moved by itself, though many speculate that the spurned bride, Anna Baker, has reclaimed her dress at last. And that's what I like. That's what I want.
I like that.
Well, if you think too, like, let's say this is an older house, it's an old mansion, maybe those big old, nails that they would use to drive into the wood, that would just go into an empty space in the wall. Maybe the draft is coming up through there, and unless they're using modern, modern hardware,
modern methods.
Yeah, but that that could be a cause of it. But I do like the fact that they try to disprove all that kind of stuff, and nil. Just a corpse bride admiring herself in the moonlight. Dancing in the moonlight.
No, I dig those ones. That's haunted dresses.
Yeah, man, it's romantic. It's in your wheelhouse.
You know what I almost brought for this? This is not going to be in the episode, but I almost brought the cursed wedding dress from the JK Cinema episodes.
Yeah, and I was going to bring the Teddy Ruxpin one, but I couldn't find anything really solidifying that.
Yeah, that was a big one where people would point to, like, no, man, it was from a case of haunted bear, and then like people would point to that, and then all that disappeared for some reason. Right. It's weird. Like, no, I made that up. I edited the Wikipedia page.
Yeah, not one of our fans. That one.
No, me.
Yeah, beautiful. Beautiful.
All right. So next up, this might be my favorite in my list. Like all fun things and spooky things in my childhood, yours too. This appeared on an episode of Unsolved Mysteries.
Yes.
The Tallman Ghost episode. Strangely enough, this episode has been pulled from the streaming services. It's not part of the collection that you can watch now.
Really?
It's not on there.
What's that about?
I don't know, but I do have the.
Find out.
Hey, you always need the hard copy. I have
True.
I have the DVDs. I have the Ghost, just the Ghost DVDs, and it's on
My
there.
man.
Gotta have it. This one, man, I remember very fondly as a kid because it's that, just like Unsolved Mysteries, all their recreations has that, that daytime soap opera haze to it where you're just like, this is magical. And this one involves kids getting terrorized by a haunted bunk bed.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this episode has it all, and I had to pull this one up because, it's just this your basic, your classic American family, middle America. I think it's Wisconsin, right?
Yeah.
And
yeah.
So they buy this house, they live in the American dream, and hey, they find this it's like a used furniture store. Hey, look, there's a bunk bed. This is perfect. Let's get it. They bring it home. Yeah, it's perfect. How could this go wrong at all? But
In what way?
in what way?
What way could we fathom that this is
there's
going to
no
go
way.
awry?
Beds aren't haunted.
No. What?
So
Just wood.
So they bring these bunk beds back to the house, and strange things began happening immediately.
Mm-hmm.
First of all the kids got sick.
Yeah.
Which, first of all, that happens when you move. We've moved twice in the last couple of years, and all the kids got sick. It's just something that seems to happen. But ghosts.
Yeah.
I'm just saying from personal experience. And then the next part, the radio in the kid's room started switching stations on them, and I love the kid actor, who's just like, "Ah."
I was watching it before this episode actually, and I say to my wife Beep, or Bug as we call her, she was sitting behind me when I was watching it, and we're laughing because they're doing the Wisconsin accent and everything. But when the father starts talking, right, and he's saying, my son runs in the room and he's saying the dial. That was the Wisconsin accent. I can't even do it right now. But he's saying how the dial moved. And he's like, well, if he's going to carry on with the radio, we're going to have to take it out, and he's not going to be able. And I was just thinking, you know what? There's such a fundamental difference of parenting back then than there is now, especially with the paranormal stuff. Because in all those old interviews or shows or movies, the father, and mostly the mother too, for the most part, they're usually just like, it's fucking radio, or you're a kid. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You're a kid, and this is fake. And it takes such a monumental thing to get the mother on board, and then it takes 3 times more to get the father on board.
Yeah, because everything is just antics.
Yeah, and he's just like, I just wanted my pot roast. I just, you know what I mean? When you get
just get to bed.
Yeah, oh God, I'm just trying to grab your mom's tit before bed,
Just one.
Just one. That's all he needs,
Yeah, okay. It is Wisconsin.
Yeah, right. So, but nowadays on any of these shows, immediately they're talking to Chip Coffey, and they're like, I believe it was the 4th angel who fell, the one who's, they have the
So
back.
specific.
Yeah, it's always this, they're like, no, I was reading my book of Enoch and translation,
Right.
all that shit that's just because they watch Supernatural and Lucifer and all these shows.
I think they just watched the movie The Prophecy. That's all it was.
Right. Well, I don't even think they know what that is now. These parents don't know about The Prophecy, bro.
I'm just talking about Chip Coffey.
Oh, okay. Chip Coffey, yeah. I still like that guy. I still enjoy that guy.
Okay.
But once again, it's just such a fundamental difference in the parents.
Oh
then
yeah,
and now.
no. They're just if you're gonna be crying, you're carrying on about it.
And now it's just oh my God, there is a spirit.
Yeah, and that's oh wait, then you look the area they came from. Ah, that's right. This is the area that spawned Jeffrey Dahmer. Now I get it. But my favorite part of the whole part is when the episode is when the kid gets the little girl and then the kid both say that they saw a witch behind their door. I was like, ooh,
Yeah, it was
that.
glowing like
glowing.
fire.
Yeah. And then disembodied voices called out from empty rooms.
Nah.
So what time it is after that. They got to bring the priest in.
Oh yeah, big time.
And he felt the presence of not evil, but the devil himself.
And who is this priest that's going out of the
Guy who wants to be on TV.
Yeah,
That's who
but
it is.
he's got the gift. Not he's dipping his toe into the devil pool by saying that he has the gift. You know what I mean?
Hey man, it's not something I can argue with. He's it's powerful. So the kids become like crazy scared of the house. And then comes the next favorite scene is when Alan, the dad, walks into the house and he's like yelling, "Pick on me, leave my kids alone." But the actor is so bad with his glue-on beard that it's like...
And he's wearing one of those Jerry Seinfeld sweater long sleeve shirts that's all gray with the jeans.
Yeah.
You know, the big white shoes. He's like, oh.
Yep, and his lunchbox.
Yeah, relax. I just want to take some pictures of you.
So then the next day, he's dude's coming home from work and he hears a voice from the garage say, "Come here." And he goes over.
That. Oh.
Yeah. And he goes over and apparently he sees like an orange glow coming from inside of the garage, and then there's red eyes staring at him through the garage door windows. So good, the 90s effects.
Oh yeah. Come on.
And then he's also witnessing fog rising out of the floor and to the shape of flames, and then green eyes peering out of him. So he's got the red eyes and the green eyes.
Do you think that's what happened to us? Do you think that like we'll see like these ghost like photos or like videos nowadays, you know, and we'll see them on YouTube or whatever, and we're like, that's not what a ghost looks like,
right?
Because we're just in our head, we're seeing late 80s, early 90s ghost effects, you know. We're like, no, that's not it.
Why doesn't that look like cheesy effects?
Yeah, right.
That can't be real. Later on, the voice emanated, "You're dead." And
did it say "get out"? Did it say "get out"?
No, but it did say "you're dead." We also have the priest. We have all these inexplicable, demonic activity. This is fashioned right off of the Amityville Horror. And then a few days later, they have a relative come over who spent the evening in the house. And then this might be my favorite part, because in the middle of the night he just wakes up and screams like a woman. It's so good. He sits up like the Undertaker and then just starts screaming like a woman. And then that night they fled their house and never returned.
Never to return.
No, and they had the the bunk bed bulldozed, which they reproduce in dramatic fashion on Unsolved Mysteries.
Yeah, they only returned to grab a picture for the book they were writing.
Right. So good times. And this one was influential, man. Like, this one really got me, because there's also the scene where the kids getting terrorized. It's like during Christmas. It's like, no ghosts during Christmas. That's cozy time. I want my toys.
Yeah, right. It's messed up, man. Leave the kids alone on Christmas.
Yeah, for fuck's sake.
Jerks. Jerk ghosts.
Mm-hmm.
Bunch of jerk ghosts.
Nope. So
in Wisconsin, of all places.
I mean,
Gosh, Dad, relax. It's Christmas, Dad. Gosh.
Great.
I'm being set up, Dad. All right, so my next one's another painting. And I actually, it's funny, before I go into this, I actually had an experience with this. Back when I worked at Guitar Center, and my buddy Ian First, who I met through there, awesome dude. I was just like doing YouTube videos or whatever because it was slow, and I would always look for this shit, right? I'm always looking for this shit, and I saw a thing where it was like, be careful, like with looking at this painting, it's cursed, it's haunted, and things may happen, like people have experienced dizziness, all this kind of stuff. So I call my buddy Ian over. I'm like, let's see what happens, and I played the video from the beginning, and it's given like the warning and everything, and as it comes up, I got like a weird like feeling, and he was like, turn it off, because it was weird, and I know, of course, we got like built up because the video built it up, right? But then when you see it too, it was a little more unsettling than I expected, because it's nothing like really crazy. It only starts to get crazy when you start to examine what's going on in it, but
the weird details.
Yes, right. So this is the Hand Resists Him painting. In 2000, an anonymous eBay seller listed a painting created by artist Bill Stoneham called The Hand Resists Him. The painting is now largely considered to be one of the world's most haunted works of art. The painting features a boy and a creepy doll standing in front of a glass door. The painting was created in 1972 and purchased by Hollywood actor John Marley. It was then bought by a California couple before going up for sale on eBay, along with a dire warning about the problems involved with owning this object. According to the couple, the figures in the painting moved around at night, sometimes disappearing from the canvas entirely. The boy in the painting was said to actually enter the room where the painting was hung, and everyone who viewed the painting reported feeling sick and weak. Small children would take one look at the painting and run from the room screaming. Adults sometimes felt like unseen hands were grabbing them, and others said that they felt a blast of hot air as if they had opened an oven. Even those who viewed the painting
Sounds like an air biscuit to me. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm trying to get the sillies out. I don't know what's
Yeah,
going
get
on.
the sillies out, man. You got to get the sillies out. Even those who viewed the painting online claimed to feel a sense of unease, dread, or terror when looking at the painting. One person even claimed that their brand new printer refused to print. That is sick.
You okay?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. There's nothing going on your screen. There's nothing at all going on your screen. But this is good. One person even claimed that their brand new printer refused to print the photo of the painting. However, it worked fine on every other print job. It's beautiful. I love it. The painting,
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, he doesn't know what I'm talking about. He doesn't know what I'm talking about. The painting was purchased by an art gallery in Grand Rapids, is that Michigan?
Mm-hmm.
When the gallery spoke to the artist who had created it, he was surprised to hear that his work was the center of paranormal investigation. But he did mention that two people who originally displayed and reviewed the painting had died within a year of viewing the hand system. I love that. So,
Just viewing it.
yeah, he's like, this is really weird. That, like, you guys are like really wow, you guys are really into this painting. He's like, come to think of it, it did fucking kill two people. now that I'm thinking about it, because I painted so many things and like, you know,
Yeah.
I was gonna say these one do that, but I can't even do those jokes. But you know, it's like this one waterboarded someone. This one, no, but it's like it's just weird. It's weird. He's like, this one murdered two people, and you guys are investigating it. I don't know. I'm not buying it.
I don't know. This one's a little too clean for me. I mean, I have heard of this one before, and I've seen the picture, you know, a million times. It's
Right.
It's definitely creepy, but it's creepy on purpose. And I wonder if they like, you know, they were like, hey, I'm gonna make a really weird painting and let's turn it into a cursed painting. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, it's still cool. It's a cool image. Like you look at it, it's like, yeah, totally.
Right.
But you know the backstory, like I mean, it's got nothing on the story of the Crying Boy paintings. You know, there's not, you know,
Yeah.
you know, Rigatoni's not going up in flames or whatever it was. But
Yeah. No one bought it for 4 fettuccine. Nothing like that.
Yeah, 4 fettuccine and 50 gabagool cents.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's one of those, you know, just like a lot of the other ones. It's just one of those. It's one of those internet, you know.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
oh, the printer exploded, and it's like,
Oh man,
the
yeah.
printer?
Yeah, it's like the 2000s, man. It's early
Yeah.
2000s. It's like
Yep.
that's when like there was like a resurgence of all this like, you know, stuff that was in books in the 80s.
Yeah.
And like, you know, the conspiracy theories came back and like it's like, guys, this has been done. You know, like we've talked about this and people, you know, but like
How we need a new one then? A new one.
yeah,
a new one.
yeah, right. And they're like, this crazy painting. But do you think the actual guy who painted this, who was like, oh, the two people that died, he just killed two people and associated with the
No.
painting?
No, I think
no one died.
nobody died.
All right,
Nope.
just take the fun right out of it, Jay.
So you're asking me what I think, and I think that it's. I think that this one is. This one's a little cooked up, just like the next one that I have. I
Yeah.
think that's cooked up.
Yeah,
So,
lay it on me, bro.
it's the Anguished Man painting. Now, I think this one. I mean, these all are very well known, but I think this one might be the most well known. I mean, it's you know this
The imagery is the most striking.
yeah, oh, for
First and
sure.
foremost.
Yeah, because the painting itself it's not like, technically speaking, it's not like amazing or anything, but it looks like a guy his flesh has been burned off. I guess that'd be the best way to describe it. It's just
Sure.
a head and shoulders. It's you know, it's like a bust type portrait with a, you know, very crude method of applying the paint, and then it has like a very crackled, like bluish background.
The guy who painted it's like, no, I meant to do that. It's supposed to look like that.
Yes.
It's supposed to look crude. You may say that it's amateurish and crude, but that's because you're not in my head, man. Or whatever artists say.
So, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
This is another one that has, looks like it was just made to be used for, producing content. Because I remember when I first saw things about this, it was already attached to like YouTube videos were like, so the guy, apparently, the guy who has it, who's like, oh, I got this painting. It was by a deeply disturbed artist who, before he killed himself, yeah, exactly. He mixed his blood with the oil paints, right? And then he creates the piece, and then immediately after, when it's done, before the paint's even dry, kills himself.
Fucking metal, man.
Right.
It's fucking metal.
Wendigo riff.
Yeah.
So, and then the guy who, basically started all the media stuff around it, a guy named Sean Robinson, says, he received the painting from his grandmother who claimed a spirit lived within it. Since Sean didn't believe in the paranormal, he brushed off the claims.
Yeah,
Then, after hanging the painting in his home, his wife began seeing dark figures lurking around the home. Strange noises came from the painting, like scratching and what sounded like a man crying.
I like it.
I like it too, man. But it's, Sean's former opinion of the paranormal shifted, and he posted YouTube videos of the paranormal activity the anguished man was exhibiting. So, in my opinion, that's what this is. Because you go to it, this painting has its own YouTube channel.
Right. Yeah.
And, like, the posting has, like, petered out big time. Like, it was like, it went for, like, oh my God, like all these views. And then, like, the last few videos, like, one's from like a couple of years ago. And it's just like, I recorded some EVPs. And it's just like.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because most of the comments at that point were like, came for the asshole mouth.
Yes. Yeah.
It was cool for a while, found something else to whack to.
Basically. And then the last video that's up there, it's like EVP capture. And then like you're sitting there and all of a sudden you hear, smash that like button. Comment, like, and subscribe.
Yeah.
That subscribes. It's so. And
then you hear, come back for more of my videos.
Oh, God. I wish someone would do that to Chills. Just skin him and just, film his death.
And then someone goes, Chills has a cool asshole mouth now.
Wow. He probably
didn't have that before. Yeah, you're right.
Think about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I like the whole, this is fun. This is the curse object thing, and I do enjoy this. This one is very much in that category of yours as well. And it's just, it's almost like, creepypasta, but one step further.
Sure.
Because they're actually creating items to go with it, which I get it, dude. It's entertainment. Right. I was into it for a bit. I remember when I first, like I was saying, the first time I read an article about it, I was like, damn, that's creepy as fuck.
Yeah. No, it's totally. See, that's the thing, because it's always like the first time you read about one of these or see it that it really you're like, whoa, and like you kind of get into it, like Slender Man, man. We were, we were balls deep in that for a while, and like the that's the fun of it, right? Yeah, that's the fun of it, and like when it's almost better to not dig, right? Like it's better to be one of these normies out here who can just like go, oh, that's crazy, did you hear about it? And then not look anything up at all.
No. Because
just accept.
Either they accept it, or hey, maybe they're not even normies. Maybe it's just like they're jaded. Maybe they're you and I kind of a little bit, where they're just like, yeah, that's cool. I'm not gonna look into it because it's just gonna ruin it.
Right, you're right. See, that's a much. In a way, I feel it's a much healthier way to live than how we deal with it. How we're just like, no, let's get to the bottom.
Let's get to the bottom of it, and it's fake.
Yeah, and then we bitch about it to each other. Like
right, exactly. And it's just the varnish on the painting keeping it from burning.
Right. Good shit. All right, so this is this my next one here. I like this one. There's some history involved. And who doesn't like a good revenge story?
Everybody likes that.
Yeah, everybody likes that, right? So the story goes of this one. Well, I'm sorry. This is actually the Swansea Devil. Okay. Now, the story goes in 1890, Swansea, South Wales, the good half part of my motherland. Famed architect Sir Anthony Bloomfield. I'm Welsh. beat a local architect for the contract to rebuild an ancient St. Mary's church in the center of the town. The local man was incensed. A few years later, he purchased an old row of cottages that stood opposed the new church, tore them down, and built a large red brick building there, placing the statue of a smiling devil on its edifice. The aggrieved the aggrieved builder then placed a curse on the church, proclaiming that it would soon be destroyed and the devil would look upon the rubble and keep smiling. During the Blitz, Swansea was targeted by the Luftwaffe, and St. Mary's took a direct hit, allowing the curse to be true. Now, the devil is the devil is a quirky landmark in Wales' second city, peeping out at the shoppers from a window at the Quadrant Shopping Center.
It's so weird looking.
It is. This is where I'm at with this one, and I love they have the picture of where it is at the Quadrant Shopping Center.
Yeah,
and they're like, well, let's not move this. Let's put this where it was. It's almost like William Penn for us in Philly.
Sure.
It's like, oh God. And you know what? It took the direct hit in the church, and it's like, I'm gonna say, coincidence, but also in the same breath, it's like, who's to say that it's not like the butterfly effect, Right. One small thing didn't cause the war.
Yeah. Also, that it has glass eyes, and there's a couple of pictures where it's close up on it. It's like, ew.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, and they're looking at two separate spots in a way. They're not aligned like regular eyes are.
Right.
How we talked about how things are weird when it's something's not quite right here,
Yeah, I think what it is, because it was a gargoyle or whatever you want to call it, a grotesque that was on part of a building. It has the sculpture itself would have been given a very sort of a strange aspect to it. So because it's going to be viewed from below, Michelangelo's David doesn't have correct proportions because he knew it was going to be viewed from below. So there's certain things about it that are actually misshapen, because if he actually had it in the same shape, it would actually look weird, which is weird. Right. Not that this thing is amazingly sculpted, but you can see that they definitely something like that was at work when whoever sculpted this.
Well, that's a testament to the Statue of David that forced perspective was involved while creating it.
Well, it was sculpted by a fucking genius.
Yeah. I'm like, oh, he did a good one.
while you're just slopping down some fucking gabagool. Yeah, it's fucking good.
It's pretty good, man. I like his dick.
Nice dick.
Yeah. Statue's got a good dick, man. All right, what else?
Thanks,
bullshit? What else bullshit we got in this museum?
Yeah.
What other bullshit can I look at?
Handful of peanuts, shaking them around,
throwing them at your face and fucking missing them.
Leaving a trail of them all over this pristine fucking museum. Perfect. Jersey Italian comes to Rome or Florence, wherever it is.
What is this? What is it, David or some shit? This guy's got his fucking Scott all hanging out.
Honestly, he probably looks like this devil sculpture.
Right. Oh, that's fucking funny, man. I'm gonna think about that all tomorrow. It's gonna be a good day.
There it is.
Oh shit.
Good. Yeah. All right. So next up, I have the cursed mirror of the Myrtles plantation.
Yes, we've discussed Myrtles a couple times here, and it's if there's anywhere that's going to have a haunted or cursed artifact, Myrtles is the place.
Oh my god, legendary, and there's so many stories attached to it. But this one, it has a haunted object attached to it. The Myrtles plantation, which is it's located in St. Francisville, Louisiana. So to tell the story, you have to know the full, tragedy story, which if you're, into the paranormal at all, I'm sure you know this. So just a quick rundown. The married couple that moves in, Mr. and Mrs. Clark Woodruff. He was a judge, and, unfortunately, because of the time and location, owned numerous slaves, as was the norm at the time. One of his house slaves went by the name of Chloe, who for many years fell victim to Woodruff's cruelty. So Chloe tried to protect herself from the abuse by listening to one of Woodruff's conversations and, would try to modify her behavior. Oh, he hears what she's complaining about. Oh, I'll try to change what I'm trying to do here. So one day after being caught eavesdropping, Woodruff had Chloe's ears cut off, forcing her to carry the shame and disfigurement the rest of her life. Her mutilation was hidden at the request of the Woodruffs by the use of a green turban. No one would see this terrifying mark, but the painful experience would stay with Chloe and inspire her to make plans for, you guessed it, revenge. Mm-hmm. On the 9th birthday of the Woodruff daughter, Chloe placed poisonous oleander leaves into the cake. Chloe's plan was to poison Mrs. Woodruff and their children, but some sources claim that it was never her intention to kill the 3 family members. They suggest that Chloe wanted to get them sick so she could nurse them back to health.
Right.
In the South, local healers were among the most respected of the community. If Chloe could heal the family, she would be safe from the harsh reality of working in the fields. Yeah. Tragically, the dosage was lethal and ended up killing Mrs. Woodruff and her 2 children. After word spread of her actions on the plantation, the other slaves were the ones to take revenge. Chloe was hanged by the neck for everyone to witness until the life was drained from her body. She was then weighed down by rocks and thrown into the Mississippi River. The plantation, it was lots of horrific stuff happened here. Long story short,
yeah,
there's a lot of stuff.
This is the segment of the show where we get into that
history.
Right, yeah.
But also, this, one of the most famous ghost photos of all time is allegedly a photo of her at the plantation, and you can see her signature green turban.
Yeah,
she's standing between these 2 homes.
One of the best.
Buildings.
One of the best. Yes.
Yep. And you can even see she just looks sad in the picture. You can't. It's not a close up, but just her posture. One of my favorite pictures.
Yeah, and it makes you sad.
Yeah,
you're like, if ever history comes back to haunt us and you see it, you're like, oh my god.
I think I've said in previous episodes, whenever you get into this stuff, when there's the ghosts of slaves, automatically you're just like, oh.
Right, yeah, that's our reverence. We always say it. It's American slaves and Native Americans. We're just we just got oh god.
Yeah. If all we get was being terrorized by Mothman out of it, that's that's people getting off light.
Yeah, it's not a fair trade-off.
Right, but anyway, so in the grand hallway of the Myrtles Plantation, there's this antique mirror just outside the dining room that visitors over the years have reported seeing Woodruff's children appear in the mirror near the room where they were poisoned. One researcher noted that each time the mirror is replaced or resilvered, this is one of those antique silver mirrors, the same handprint reappears, and it just can never come off. It's like they're, I don't know, Superman 2 when General Zod is stuck inside the fucking thing. So, so that's the story. That's creepy as fuck.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's creepy as fuck. It's a hard story, man.
Creepy as fuck. But then it's just it's got when you have that much history attached to the story, it's so this happened. It's oh, by the way, this mirror, there's souls stuck in the mirror. It's oof.
Yeah. And at that point, you're kind of yeah, there probably is.
Yeah.
You're like,
or you're just this place makes me feel gross. Can we leave?
You're I want to see a ghost, but not that bad.
Oh God. sorry, everybody. Sorry for everything that happened to everybody here. Sorry, I gotta go.
Yeah. You go outside.
Yeah, seriously, just puke for 3 minutes straight.
Yeah. And you go, all right, let's get a beignet.
Let's go eat some wings.
Oh.
Yep.
Good one, though, man.
That's what I got for one of my favorites. Actually, haunted mirrors have a long history.
Yeah.
There's something you've got the mirrors used for scrying. You have black mirrors. You have looking at the dark mirrors at night with just candlelight. I mean, there's a whole history of
Bloody Mary.
Yeah. That fucking mirror at my old house.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nope. I would love to know what's happening right now with that.
Yeah, we should find out.
No,
we shouldn't. Who cares?
We shouldn't. No.
Yeah. All right. Well, way to bring us down there, Jay.
Yeah, you're welcome.
But no, actually, this one I chose because it's absolute fucking bullshit. And but so this doll has its own Facebook page, right?
Uh-huh.
This is Letta the doll. There's another
yeah.
word that it's usually associated with that we're not allowed to say. And when typing this up, a G word. It's a G word, usually referred to as Italians who travel.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, or Irish, English who travel. But other races, I don't know. I just know it is an Italian thing. You call my mom it. But I titled this one "Letta the Doll," in quotes, total bullshit. So here's the story. The owner of the doll, Kerry Walton, claims he had
Already
found...
bullshit. Name.
Oh, yeah. Yep. He claims that he found the doll under the floor of the porch in an abandoned house in Wagga Wagga, South Wales, Australia. He was going...
Fozzie?
Not Wagga Wagga. Wagga Wagga.
Okay.
South Wales, Australia. He was going there for his grandmother's funeral and decided to go exploring the neighborhood, the neighboring house that always had haunted him. The doll is of wood and is a child's size with a particular face, dressed in green with long braid hair. When Walton first saw the doll, he was as terrified as we are when we're seeing the doll now. That was back in 1972, and Letta the doll came back to live with Walton and his family in Brisbane. When he put the doll in the trunk of his car, or the boot, that's English, I don't know, to drive home, he heard movement and a scream. "Letta me out!" It screamed.
What?
You heard that right. "Letta me out."
You're always off to be Lucky Charms.
Yeah. But no, I'm thinking more of like a "let me out," like a band, like, yeah.
Where's me gold?
Yeah, he heard from the back of his truck. It was just only the doll's words that were back there, and ever since then, the doll was called Letta. So that's where the name comes from. Letta me out.
Dude, I would have went with the doll.
Yeah, right. A focus fools of the doll.
There you go.
And since then, the doll has apparently been a cause of many strange things happening in the home in Queensland. Described as the doll from hell, Letta the doll in Australia is the cause of strange things, but although a scary one, the owner will never part with a possessed doll. Together, they have appeared on numerous television shows where he claims there is something paranormal over the doll. He says more than one person has seen the doll move right in front of him. Yeah, where are they at? There's also signs that the doll is moving
dead.
on it. Yeah, right. There are also signs that the doll is moving on its own, and it left visible marks around the house as well as under the shoes of the doll. The children living with the doll were also understandably terrified of the strange new addition to the household and said they could hear the doll move around. So that's Letta the doll. My favorite part of it is the look of it, right? It's, if you ever see it, it looks like...
no, I saw it. It's...
Well, remember Mr. Rogers?
Mm-hmm.
Remember when
Lady
they go
Elaine
to...
Fairchild.
Yeah. It looks like those fucking nightmares.
Yeah.
And like, I remember being like home from school as a kid when I was sick and it would come on.
Yep.
Those dolls would pop up.
With his voice doing the voice.
Oh God, they had
Come on, Fred.
Yeah. You could, Jesus God, you could do something different. The voices were so god awful and terrifying.
Yeah.
And the voices were just like melancholy. Oh God, I don't even want to even go back down.
There's also
that
no music
weird.
in the background too, so it's just like
Right.
dead silent and him doing this. Hi, boys and girls. And it's there was no. I don't care how fun the trolley looked.
Yeah, you're right.
Yep.
Yeah, but
And King Friday was on heroin, I think. Ooh, there's dark, like blue, like purple circles around his eyes.
Yeah.
He would like rise out of the tree, like his head would come in up after.
Yeah. Ugh. And they have the like. Oh, I wasn't a fan. I was not a fan. Yeah, but besides Mr. Rogers, all his good, he was a weirdo with dolls. We'll just close that out there.
At some point in history, I know they have these fun documentaries about the guy. So they will find the bodies, and it'll get cracked wide open.
And they'll all have discarded sweaters and shoes that he took off and switched at the beginning of every episode. 'Cause
Yeah, and like
he was coming in from the murder, right?
Yeah.
And that's why he was switching them both. You know,
Yeah.
they would just dump him in the pit.
yeah, exactly. And everyone's going to be like neighbor 1 through 843.
Yeah.
So he just looks into the camera. Won't you be my neighbor?
He's burning.
Mm-hmm.
She be my
Yep.
neighbor.
And he's like, shh, 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 shh.
He starts doing his whistle and shit.
And that
Ugh.
creepy ass mailman shows up.
Yeah, he does. He's like, hey, I got those pills you wanted, friend.
I got that pistol with the serial number
Yeah.
filed off for you, friend.
He's like, I've been keeping up on those neighbors' correspondence for you, friend.
And here's that $100,000 in non-sequential bills. What do you need this for?
It'd be crazy if he was DB Cooper.
That would be pretty cool, but he didn't really do anything. Like maybe the mailman was DB Cooper and Fred was the serial killers, and like they were just keeping each other's secret going. You know,
Dude,
like, oh,
Mia just walked by the back like
Yeah.
the Signs alien. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, it's
yeah,
nice. It's good.
Yeah.
Mia,
I think she's already upstairs. She was gunning it, dude.
She's scared of the basement, even though I'm not here.
I got you. Hey, man.
I'm not scared about this basement.
I know, but basements are just, when you're a kid, basements are basements, man.
Okay. All right. So for my last pick, I want to save this one for the end because this one actually kind of saved the best for last. Because this one actually, I never heard of this one until I was researching, and this one was like, oh my god, I kind of like this one. You might want to pull a picture up of this one so you can see it. It's called The Woman from Lem, L-E-M-B.
I've already seen it.
Oh, okay, great. This one, man, hell yeah. This curious limestone statue was unearthed at Lem, Cyprus in 1878. It has earned the nickname the Goddess of Death, but its actual name is the Woman from Lem. Dating from 3500 BC, almost 6,000 years old. Its
Yeah.
real purpose is unknown, but it may have been a fertility statue or a representation of a goddess whose name has been lost to time. This little innocuous statue has become famous for the deadly effect it has had on each of its owners. Look at this thing.
Yeah.
I don't want that in my house.
Yeah.
There's something weird about the stretched neck and like are those her arms? And then what's the thing inside? She have dumps like a truck? Like, what is that?
Fertility
Yeah.
statue, bro.
Yeah, right.
Trying to get you hard, bro.
Seriously. I just went from 6,000 BC to 1,200 BC.
Oh, thank God. It was a long day.
So the statues belong to at least 4 different families, and each one has suffered a great amount of tragedy after acquiring the piece. Lord Elfont, not Lord Elephant, even though that's what I'm going to say, was the first owner. Within 6 years of buying the statue, all 7 of his family members passed away. The second owner, Ivor Minucci, and his whole family died within 4 years of attaining the statue. And then the third owner, Lord Thompson Noel, that sounds right,
Yeah.
suffered the death at his whole family also within 4 years. The statue eventually ended up as the property of Sir Alan Biverbrook, and he, his wife, and their 2 daughters were the next to die. To try and stop the curse from harming anyone else, Biverbrook's 2 surviving sons donated a statue to the Royal Scottish Museum in Edinburgh. After that, the museum curator who handled the statue died within a year. Today, the Woman from Lem statue remains tucked away safely behind glass at the museum, where it can't cause any more harm. Hopefully, the village of Lempa is one of the most ancient in Cyprus. It is believed to have first been settled in the Chalcolithic period, which is from 3800 to 2500 BC, and a number of cruciform female figurines like this one have been found from this area.
It's crazy.
Yes.
It's from times that I can't even like really fathom.
Yeah, it has, it's the Stone Age. It's,
Yeah.
same era when they're, from when cavemen were doing cave paintings. It's, You know, a dark and mysterious time.
For a moment there, I thought we were like when cavemen were doing cave shit. Yeah, I don't,
They were doing cave shit.
yeah,
I like the weird little face on top.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, but
So-
you know, you said you don't want it in there, but like in your place. But
Yeah.
come on.
I don't know. It's like legit. It's you know, almost 6,000 years old.
Right,
And that's
you're right.
awesome, but at the same time, it's like, you know, who
That's
knows-
old magic.
Were they pouring blood over this thing? Like,
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
right,
Like
right.
No
the
thanks.
stuff that we really don't know about. You know?
the stuff we really don't want.
Yeah, like the stuff that we joke about, but if it like is really real, we're like, oh god, like,
You know,
fuck.
like every full moon, you start hearing like drum beats
Yeah.
from nowhere. You're like, what the fuck is that coming from? And you just look over and the thing's weeping blood. It's like,
Yeah,
you
I was gonna say your whole bedspread's just like blood now.
know, you hear like, you know, like pigs squealing and cattle like fucking mooing. It's like, I can't deal with this. Right out the window.
Yeah, you have to like suck an orange dry before getting into bed,
Whoa.
like just to make it like, you know, to appease this lady.
Yeah, you know what this kind of reminds me of? You ever see that remember the Brady Bunch episode with the cursed tiki? That fucking episode.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
They based the whole second movie in the '90s about it. Yeah, I
Did
remember.
they?
Yeah,
Yeah, I only saw the first one and I was like, I can't watch any more of these.
it was a single mother. You know, I watched movies with her. I had to.
I hear you.
Yeah.
No, that's what this reminds me of. But this is like, oh, here's the real thing.
Hey, you know, but it kind of sounds like the Warrens like took a lot of stuff from this and were like, let's just grab this doll and like
Oh.
work the story to be like this.
Oh, I mean, if you want to transition to the Warrens, yeah, they just took stuff. They probably went to like Salvation Army, fucking, you know,
Yeah.
you know, the fucking, you know, shops, or just, you know,
Went to
pawn
their
shops.
went to their mother's friends' houses and found shit.
Yeah,
And
it's
we're
like, can we go in your attic and garage and just find
Yeah.
some weird old lady shit? They're like,
Yeah.
yeah, sure.
Yeah.
And they would just make up a story, find some old weird lady shit, and then
old weird lady shit. Yeah.
both works.
Yeah.
And you know, just cook up a story for it, and then just, you know, throw it in their dumb museum. They had
it is dumb.
there was their museum, and then there was the other dude. What was that? Zaffis. He had his museum, and there were some things in there that were just like, dude, this is from like fucking Spirit Halloween, dude. What, are you serious right now?
Well, even if you go to the Warrens now and you actually do like, or if you just do the virtual tour,
Yeah, you can't
If
go
they
in there now.
yeah, but like they just have like Halloween shop stuff in there,
Yeah,
and it's like, what am I supposed to do with this? Like, I thought this was like cursed objects and things that like from investigations
no.
that you kept, and it's like, so
They're
you
like-
just pack shit in your basement, your hoarders.
That, and then a lot of the stuff was like, oh, someone sent this to us and had this anecdote, you know, attached to it. It's like, dude, fuck you. That just that just means you can just have anything in there and just say, oh, someone
Yeah.
sent this to us. They wish to remain anonymous.
Yeah, and that's once again you're allowing people to just straight up have their moment of fame because they can just send you something and they go, "Oh, my thing's in the war. It's in the war."
No, I'm saying that didn't even happen.
Oh, they just did it. They were just
Yeah,
oh,
like,
okay.
oh, someone sent this into us.
Right,
Nobody
right,
sent
right, right,
anything.
right.
They're just saying, oh, another person that wanted to remain anonymous, quote unquote. Nobody just, you know, ends up
Yeah.
there fucking, you know, after he's done punching Lorraine a few times, allegedly.
Yeah,
He would, you know, make up these stories. And this is someone touched this and then they died. It's like, well, there's a lot of those things.
I picture Ed most of the time would be like, you know, midday. You know,
Drunk.
Lorraine's doing her thing, which is probably like, you know, a typist at some place or something, or all boozed up somewhere, and
Liquored up.
yeah, and she, you know, she's at the house. He's out. He does like a you know 1 p.m. stop at the local Roy Rogers, and he's in his notebook, you know, sitting there by himself with their chicken tenders back there. You know, he's just like, and he's coming up with these stories, you know, and like anyone that walks by that sits near him, you know, a little bit, you know, he kind of like eavesdrops and tries to like listen to their stories, almost like an ambulance chaser, you know, and he would just go and he would hear that and he would just start filling their head with shit. And most of the people were just like, hey man, just trying to eat with my kids here, or hey man, just want to enjoy my Roy Rogers too, get my mellow yellow and bounce, you know, but like,
Nice
you know,
pull.
yeah, I got some stuff.
Yeah,
But
Starry is no mellow yellow. By the
yeah,
way.
no, knock it off, newfangled soda. But
Jag off.
yeah, just new soda, jerk off. But no, it's I genuinely feel that was kind of his MO for like years, like because he would wear that like those car salesman outfits, and it's just like for some weird reason those shiesty salesmen of the time, door salesmen, they all wore those same outfits.
And members only jackets.
Right. Well, eventually you got to the members only jackets when they came in, but like it's so weird, man. It's so weird, like to think that like those kind of stories with these cursed objects are like from the mind of that man
Yeah.
and his followers. I just
everything in there just seems cooked up, and like we've talked about these clowns before, and it's just like they were like paranormal ambulance chasers is exactly what they were, because all the cases that they were involved with and quote unquote solved. You hear the real story, and they're like, "Yeah, we chased them out of our house."
yeah.
They're like, "Get out of here."
And that's one reason why it's like it sucks the internet wasn't around that like back then, even though the internet right now does fuck up so many things and does introduce so many snake oil salesmen into the fucking pool here. But like even back then, like there wasn't the communication and the message. Someone in a local paper came out against the Warrens. It never saw any other publication. No. Or anything, just because the word of mouth was just that. It was word of mouth then,
Yeah, no. If they were around now, they wouldn't have had a snowball's chance in hell of having any kind of credibility. Because right off the bat, they're like, "Oh, what's your real name again?"
Yeah,
and it would just start from there. As soon as they have your foot in like non-credible, like not credible, like you could just go from there.
Yep.
So, here's our cursed really Annabelle doll. Dude, stop.
Oh, like yeah, and like of course Hollywood takes it like it's perfect for Hollywood because like sources can't be verified. Yeah, and like it's
well, you don't even need to have sources to be verified. All you have to do is say based on a true story.
Oh, we love that here at Other Dangerous Podcast. We love going into that here. Ugh, based on a true story. Here's a doll. You want to write something about it? Here's a doll. You got a director?
Yeah.
Here's a doll.
Yeah.
It has
and I actually want to see those Annabelle movies redone, or with some CGI, and put the fucking Raggedy Ann doll in there instead of the
right.
Instead of that fucking like, it's like, come on, what doll is this? Who would have this in their house?
No one. Yeah, like do the whole thing with just a Raggedy Ann doll and see how the spookies work out.
Yeah.
See how spooky it is.
Yeah. Or hell, it might actually be spookier because it's meant to be kid.
Yeah. But then you have the same James Wan, story writing and directing. You have that same, whole like vibe, which is like it was cool at first. I liked the first Insidious. I thought the first Insidious was really good, but like. Then when it was just like, oh, this is the thing now.
Yeah.
You're like,
yeah. And now there's Skynet and a haunted doll. That movie, what was it, Megan? We watched that last week. I was like, this
dude.
She's a Terminator.
Yeah, I haven't watched it. There's so much stuff that I haven't watched just because I'm like when is something going to be worthy of it?
It's funny because we put it on in like the first 5 to 10 minutes. I was like, how is it that strong? Why did someone make it that strong? Like, why can it lift anything up?
Well,
it's like ripping people in half and shit. I'm like, why is it that strong? It kills a dog. Like, how?
It kills a dog.
Yeah, it does.
So John Wick isn't like.
John Wick has been dispatched. He has not arrived on scene yet.
Because that's literally all you have to do in that situation.
Well, he's busy these days. You know what I'm saying?
It's true. I
mean, he's taking down the entire Russian mafia.
Right. Part 3 is apparently 3 hours long. So.
Part 4.
Oh, 4. Yeah, 4. I'm sorry. Whoa.
It's 4 hours long.
They're just gonna add an hour for everyone.
Yeah. By the time we get to part 10, it's just gonna be him like reading a book.
Yeah, your life is John Wick now.
Yeah, a day with John Wick, literally like in real time, him getting up, taking a piss, making coffee, eating his cereal.
He's creates the bullets. You
Yep.
like there's a shot where he just like looks at you and goes in the bathroom for like 45 minutes. You're like, what's going on there?
Yeah, and then you sit there and you watch his John's favorite show with him. It's like, I don't even like this show.
It's something Gordon Ramsay, you know, it has
It's
to
something.
be. Yeah.
And one of the ones with kids, probably. Or no, it's one of the ones where he definitely yells at somebody and calls him a fucking donkey.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. John Wick ain't no pussy. He's watching
No, or
Gordon
a
freak
donkey.
out at people. Yeah, not neither of those things.
Yeah, no. That was the end of Gordon Ramsay when we tried to make him an idiot sandwich.
Yeah. He gets shot twice in the head and it's over.
Yep, over.
But so, all right. So let me ask you this.
Mm.
Now that we're done with the ones that we like,
Yeah.
besides the 6,000-year-old whatever's,
Yeah.
like this is all bullcrap, right? Are we saying this is all bullcrap, or do you think
What's bull crap?
like besides
Oh, you mean bullshit?
yeah, bullshit.
Turn into the kindergarten for a minute there.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I get confused between learning Lovecraft and here I'm trying to wash myself.
Oh, it's fine.
I'm trying to seem smarter over there. Here I get to just be a fucking lunatic. So, but
But then you get the opposite effect.
yeah, right. Yeah, I do. But no, Japanese culture. We're both fans of the idea of that. Every samurai's sword has a soul. This kind of stuff. But we understand that that's kind of tradition. It doesn't really have a
Yes.
soul.
No.
It's
cultural tradition. They don't believe it
hyperbole,
either.
It's
Yeah.
that kind of like. Did we just as like a people that are like a melting pot and amalgamation of like all these different cultures, just gonna take them all and run with them, like even the more superstitious and add not just the superstition into it, but the firm belief into it, like our faith into these things? Do you think?
Maybe. I think it's just there's shit that's entertaining, and the more materialistic we get as a society, what's scarier than one of our possessions turning against us? So,
Goddamn. Quotes to live by Jason McKittrick.
I don't know.
That was good. No, that's good. It's good because it's like I can understand way more like a place or a
It's like you're gonna say a
town.
PlayStation turning against you. I was like,
They've done that. You ever
shooting discs at you.
Yeah, right. Well, I meant just like different games that were hard as shit.
Right. All right.
But like, no, just like I can understand way easier like a place where something crazy happened that's made out of a certain material like harnessing certain energies, but like something that moves around that you can like put anywhere, like having some kind of like thing attached to it.
Yeah, I mean that kind of stuff. I just, I'm not gonna say I don't believe them, but I can't even entertain those ones too much because the ones that really get me are the ones where you go to like a museum and something has like historical significance. It's like, oh,
Right.
here's the shirt that like Abraham Lincoln was shot in. It's like, oh shit! Like you look at it and it's wow, like that it's it's imbued with meaning and presence about it. But when someone says this fucking painting made me piss my pants, it's like okay.
It's like, wow, that sounds like mental illness.
Yeah, there's lots of things right now that sound like mental illness. Yeah, so it's I mean it's fun, like we said, it's fun, it's entertaining. But the if you're asking me for something that like that's the thing that comes closer to this subject are those like historical things. When you see something like that, like here's Edgar Allan Poe's pen. Holy shit, that's amazing. Or whatever.
Yeah.
So that's the kind of stuff, or something that tragic that happened to somebody, and here's a piece of that tragedy. That is more of a quote unquote cursed or haunted item to me.
Right. So that something like that happening is where you can kind of wrap your mind around that potentially there might be some kind of supernatural, and I'm using air quotes here, supernatural presence attached to, as opposed to something that was just like made in a factory, passed around, someone stitch it together or whatever. Maybe they even use a machine. Like it's a fun story that you could come up with, but like, and most of almost everything we deal with here is some kind of pseudoscience or anything like that. But even some of the pseudoscience, you know, there's a little bit of where you're like, oh, I can understand why that might,
Sure.
you know, retain some kind of reverence in the spirit realm or the paranormal.
Yeah, I think it all just comes down to context. Context is everything. Even take those things I just mentioned, Lincoln's shirt. If you take the thing away from it and just throw that on a table, be like, what is this piece of garbage?
Yeah.
So,
Right.
I mean, but would you know that that thing was, you know, attached to such a heavy historical event? I don't know. Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. Would you feel something?
Right.
Maybe that
right.
does happen. You know, maybe
Yeah.
that does happen. Like I had my experience with, you know, one thing when I was viewing it on the internet, probably because I worked myself up. But I think
Right.
a lot of the times that's what we do
Right.
as a society is we work ourselves up.
Yeah.
And then when we get in the presence of it,
Yeah.
or just even kind of go down the rabbit hole there a little bit,
Yeah.
you start to impose emotions and things on yourself, and you're like, I feel weird. It's like,
Yeah.
you caught yourself in a thought loop, and that's what most panic attacks are.
Okay, we're back to that.
well, I'm just saying, you know what I mean. You know what I mean.
Well, and I think, but I think also in the realm of paranormal, because everything is so intangible, to have something that is tangible, have something paranormal attached to it, it's like, oh, well, here we go. You know, it's like, oh, this thing is tangible and it has paranormal aspects or a story. It's like, well, look at this. This is paranormal. It's got this haunted thing and I can touch it. I can feel it. Here it is. Like that. I can see why that's so irresistible to people. I think it also probably relates to like the relics of saints back in like medieval times. Like
Right,
they
right,
cooked
right,
those
right.
things up by the hundreds. And you know, and why? Because you know they needed more attendance at church because you know like the schism happened and you know the Protestants and all that stuff was happening. Martin Luther, that whole thing, and they needed people to come to church again. So like, hey, our church, we've got
Yeah.
what do we got? I'll tell you.
Yeah.
We got John the Baptist's underwear.
Yeah.
What? His underwear?
Yeah.
Well, we have his finger, and it just
Yeah. Snowballed. Yeah.
Yep. No,
Right,
I have
right.
actually have a book about it's called like Heavenly Bodies or something like that. There's a whole German thing where they made these like they found this tomb in Rome that they were like, oh, these are early Christian saints. It has to be. But then they found out later they were just like it was like almost like a potter's field. So nobody knows
Right.
who they are. There's no context. Nothing. Nobody knows who they were. So they just took them out and said, well, look at this guy. This guy looks like maybe he was a nice guy and his name was this. And they
Yeah.
would take the skeleton, they would dress it up. It's like covered in jewels, and they would put them in these cathedrals in Germany to try to draw people
a
in.
crowd. Yeah.
And
Fill M pews.
yeah. So I don't think it's. I think that and haunted objects, like we're talking about, I think it has the same kind of root, kind of allure, where it's like this is a way to touch, as you know, as Dr. Raymond Stantz would say, we've actually touched the ethereal plane. I think this is one of the ways that potentially you could do it.
Right. That's always a heartstring tug there.
Yeah.
My little, I guess, closing statement on it. I think that as people, we always look for something to blame, even when things just happen.
Yeah.
When things are just happening, you can easily associate like, oh, I just brought this thing in here that's not, it hasn't been here. So
Yeah.
my environment is a little bit different, and
Yeah.
something's happening that has to be to blame.
Okay.
Like from like one side, like the simplest side, we just watched a football game where everyone's blaming the refs or the field as to why the Eagles lost the Super Bowl. But no, but like like we still have to find something to blame, right? It just happened. There was a loss there. You have to do it. And it goes this, wholly the other way in the same aspect of like there is one thing that's changed in this environment. Something's happening. This thing brought a demon into my home. Like there's a demon attached to this thing.
Right.
It's causing all kind of stuff. And the superstitions of old of our ancestors and our families, because we all have a grandmom or a mother who thinks certain things are causing things, and it all kind of weighs. And even if you don't believe it, when something happens in the back of your mind, a lot of times you're like, like, did this kind of cause bad?
Yeah. You never know.
did I get a cold because I watched that movie? You know, like, I don't know. But in reality, no. But it's what we like to do. And I'm, who are we to say that any of these things really aren't haunted? I think we're pretty good authorities on it, but in the same breath,
Authorities.
but in the same breath, we're not, we're just two dudes here who like talking about this stuff. And
Yeah.
you got something haunted? I want to see it.
Yeah. Set it down. Don't tell me anything about it. Let me see what happens.
Yeah. Jay will come in. He'll touch his two fingers to his third eye. He'll
No,
reach out his
just
other
put
hand.
it. Just let me have it. I'll put it in one room, and I'll let you know if I experience anything.
Yeah.
And if nothing happens, oh, well, you're just not sensitive to it, or oh, it likes me better, or whatever the
Yeah.
fuck.
It gets mad when I walk here.
Yeah.
Then we got to break out our fancy doodads and triangulate lasers and infrared beams at it.
Yes, and then it breaks all the cases.
Yeah, and you bring a box that like just says words, and you're like, it said umbrella. Ah, that's what you get.
I love gadgets.
Gadgets are fun. They're fun to watch. They really don't do anything.
They don't do anything.
Anything.
They annoy me. Anyway.
Yeah, that's fun. That's fun. All right, well, I think that's going to do it for this episode of Other Dangerous Podcast. And for this episode of Other Dangerous Podcast, I'm Ken James.
And I'm Jason McKittrick.
And as always, have a spooky evening. Thank you for listening to Other Dangerous Podcasts. Have you encountered the other dangers? If so, you can email us at otherdangerouspodcast@gmail.com. And if you'd like to have a discussion about the paranormal, you can find us at Other Dangerous Podcast on Facebook and Instagram. There you can find submitted pictures, videos, and artwork from listeners. We are now streaming on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and anywhere else podcasts are streamed. And after listening, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so we can continue to bring you the other danger.